What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So we are finally starting off my Rocky review series leading up to Creed 3, and this is going to be a very interesting review series, mostly because I haven't seen anything past Rocky, so this is going to be a very interesting first impression to this series. I have seen Rocky Balboa, and I'm very excited to talk about that movie, plus the two Creed films, but Rocky in general is not a movie that I actually grew up with. This is a movie that I watched later in life, and even though I never really watched Rocky when I was younger, I understood its importance in pop culture, and this is a absolutely fantastic movie. The film stars Sylvester Stallone as a small-time Philadelphia boxer who gets a supremely rare chance to fight the world heavyweight champion in a bout in which he strives to go the distance for his self-respect. I believe this film won the Oscar for Best Picture and might have also won for Best Screenplay. This movie actually kind of still holds up. I really enjoyed a lot of this movie. The thing that makes this movie absolutely fantastic is the fact that this movie is just a very personal story. It doesn't really focus on the boxing all too much. You don't get to see a lot of Apollo Creed. You get to see very bits and pieces here and there, which was really surprising to me, but it was just mostly focused on the relationship between Rocky and Adrian, and that is what I loved about this movie, is the fact that it was just a small contained story that was really personal, and it just fit its narrative. It works very well because the boxing really is just the backdrop of this movie, and you can definitely tell that there were a lot of movies after this film that were really influenced by this film, and you can definitely tell that this film will always have a legacy behind it, love or hate the movies. But Sylvester Stallone absolutely knocked it out of the park with his performance as Rocky. I think this is the best performance that I've seen him give, and he is just, even when you see him in the Creed films, you definitely see that same Rocky that you see in this film. He never loses a beat when it comes to this character, and you can see why this character is very beloved even after so many years. The relationship between Rocky and Adrian is just absolutely fantastic, and it definitely does stand apart from what happens in Rocky Balboa and even in the Creed movies, especially when we get to see Adonis Creed in the Creed films, and I'm really excited to see what they're going to be doing with that character in Creed 3. But really, the boxing in this movie is just the backdrop of what's actually going on, and you buy that relationship. But not only do you buy the relationship between Rocky and Adrian in this movie, but you also buy the relationship between Adrian and Paulie. Paulie really feels like a drunk who really doesn't have his whole life together, and that's the same thing that is happening to Rocky, mostly because he's a loan shark doing business for other people, trying to get money for the people that he's working for. And just the fight that Adrian gets into with Paulie towards the end of the film is very heartbreaking, and you just feel that heart there. The relationship between Adrian and Paulie is really the strongest thing that holds this film together, even when you have that relationship between Rocky and Adrian. For the most part, when you buy that relationship, that is what holds this movie together. You don't buy the relationship, the movie really does kind of feel like it's falling apart, and it doesn't work as much. But you also have Mickey, who doesn't really have a lot of confidence in Rocky. You kind of see the father figure there, but he's trying to protect Rocky at the same time. And when they get into their fight at the end, it just breaks you emotionally, and that is something that I absolutely loved about this movie, is that there was so much heart in this movie that you really do feel the emotions and the stakes once you see the fight towards the end. It works to a finite degree. One thing that I kind of had mixed feelings on was Apollo Creed. Like I said, this movie was just a setup for the final fight, and even though he doesn't win at the end, I kind of wish we saw a little bit more of Apollo Creed and Rocky at the same time. You mostly just see Apollo Creed convincing people to set up this fight between Rocky and Apollo, and that works great. It absolutely does. but I kind of wish we got a little bit more of Apollo Creed. But even if you take that apart, it really that's the only negative that I have for this movie. It's, to be honest, it kind of is almost a near perfect movie, just because the writing was on point, the direction was fantastic, and it was just the smallest things in this movie, from the relationship between Rocky and Adrian and Polly. That is something that is very well thought out and very well portrayed. I absolutely love this movie. Is it one of my favorite films of all time? Probably not, but it really does rank high up there, mostly because it does feel like a very personal story compared to all the other films, and that's what I absolutely loved about this movie. This movie was absolutely fantastic, and if you guys have not checked out Rocky, I would absolutely recommend this movie, because this movie is absolutely fantastic. There was never a dull moment. You were invested in these characters from beginning to end. They get you from point A to point B, and this movie just absolutely holds up even after so many years. But those are my thoughts on Rocky. Have you guys checked it out? Do you like it? Are you in the minority that really doesn't vibe with this movie? Go ahead and drop those thoughts in the comments below. And if you like this video, go ahead and click that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on more videos. I'm going to be going through the Rocky series, the Creed series. I'm very excited to go through them all. But also click that bell notification so you get notified every single time that a video pops up. And we'll catch you guys on the flip side.